All right, so now let's get started and let's head over to our website to talk about shorthand. So the first question is, what is shorthand and why are iconic brands and thousands of storytellers around the world choosing it? So to put it simply, shorthand makes it easy for you to create beautiful content quickly. And that's really our mission. We want to empower you to produce stunning, engaging content and beautiful stories without needing any technical skills or huge amounts of time. And you can really delight your readers with engaging content and also hit your targets and easily measure them using either your own analytics tracking code or our built-in analytics. And with shorthand, you can create immersive single stories or multi-story sites, and the content that you build in shorthand is going to be accessible and also responsive, meaning that it's going to work seamlessly across all devices. And you know what the best part is? As I mentioned before, you don't really need any web design skills or coding experience to create beautiful, professional-looking content. Because the editor is so intuitive and easy to use. It offers a drag and drop experience, and we also offer some AI-powered features. And if you'd like, you can also use one of our templates. And when we jump into the editor, I'm going to show you our library of templates, but I also wanted to mention that here under the inspiration menu, you can already take a look at some of our templates. And even if you don't have a shorthand account yet, you can also check them out and also try these templates as well. All right, now let's talk about the use cases for shorthand. With shorthand, you can create content for a range of use cases, including digital magazines, reports, feature stories, content hubs, annual reports, sports, marketing, internal comms, and so much more, because the use cases for shorthand are really endless. And you can get a very good idea if you go to our use cases page, of course, so you can check some of the use cases. But a great place for you to start is surely our example stories page. Okay, so this is where you can see industry-specific examples, and you can also access examples of stories created by iconic brands. And today we're going to take a look at some of these examples, and what I'm going to do is show you these examples and also call out some of the different section types that are used in these examples. And then when we jump into the editor, I will go over these section types in more detail. All right, so the first example that I would like to show you is this story created by the BBC, and this is a sports story. And such a great example of how you can really use data to tell engaging stories and keep readers scrolling. And this is a story that explains how nowadays we are seeing less and less long-range goals. And so they share example of memorable goals scored from outside the box and also provide a lot of data to explain how things are changing today. And it's really fascinating to see how they have transformed masses of statistical data into a really visually compelling narrative. So this is the multimedia stories you can see, and they have combined illustrations with videos and images of players. And in terms of the layout, we can see that the story opens with an illustration followed by this embedded video. And after that, we have a series of reveal sections followed by scrollmation sections. So this is the first reveal section, and the reveal section is a section type that gives you the ability to have full screen images one after the other, and then have a transition between them. And in this particular section, we see the details of this goal scored from outside the box. And then if we scroll down, we transition to another image with the photos of the player. After that, we have a background scrollmation section, And this is a section that includes a column of text. And as we scroll down, we can see that the background changes. And in this column of text, they have embedded interactive charts. And they have kept this layout, this combination of section types throughout the story. So we have another reveal section followed by another background scrollation section. And now let's scroll down to the end of the story, because I would like to show you that at the end, they have created this grid section to create a sort of onward journey for the reader. So they are linking out to other stories to make sure that they keep the readers engaged also after they finish reading this story. And this is something super easy to do with Shorthand. Again, you can use a grid section to do this, and I'm going to tell you a bit more about the grid section later on. And this is also something that we usually recommend doing when you create a story, always making sure that the engagement of your readers doesn't end with a story, but they can keep reading other content from your website, from your website or from your stories. Okay, so this was the first example. Let's take a look at the next one. So this is a story from Sky News. This is a story where they go over the events that took place at Capitol Hill a few years ago, and such an engaging, beautifully designed story. And they have created a timeline of the key moments of that day using text sections and interactive full screen maps created again with the reveal section. So let's take a look at the first map. So again, this is a reveal section. If we scroll down, we can transition to the next slide and we can see the location of the different buildings. Let's keep scrolling down, and when we do so, we outline the two different routes that the protesters took that day. Okay, then we have a column of text and then another reveal section, so another map with more details about how the attack took place that day. And now we have another text section. And what's really interesting about this story is that they record events using several social media posts to really help recreate that feeling of fear, agitation that I believe anyone watching the events on television that day was experiencing as well. And it's worth noting that they embedded these social media posts without writing a single line of code. So they use a feature called Which Embeds that allows you to embed any third-party items into your stories, again, without writing any code. Okay, so beautiful story. I'm going to share the links with you after this session. The next one is a report. It's a transparency report created by TripAdvisor. And something that I would like to mention about this report is that this piece is available in 6 languages, and several customers like TripAdvisor are translating their stories into multiple languages because the editor supports different languages. And actually, I'm proud to say that Shorthand stories are published in more than 30 world languages. When it comes to this report in particular, so they are providing a lot of data in such a beautiful, engaging way. So they have used a lot of media, and of course we have some text section, media section, and then we have a few background formation like this one, and they use the background formation to create these interactive charts. All right, and then we have a final example. As I mentioned earlier, with Shorthand, you can create single stories or multi-story site, and this is a perfect example created by the British Council, and this is a project. So project is a feature that allows you to bring Shorthand stories together through a navigation structure. So this is a multi-site story. A multi-story project that they created to show the impact that their work had on many people around the world. So they put together several interactive multimedia interviews using photos and also audio. to offer a very unique range of perspectives. So we can see that they crafted a beautiful opening section for this story, and they layered different images, something really easy to do with the editor. And then here we have a video from YouTube. This was embedded, again, using the rich embeds feature, which we're going to discuss later on. And then here we have a grid section that contains different links. So it links out to the main areas, to the main parts of this project. And we can find these links also over here in this drop-down menu. So let's click Stories from the UK. And this is the homepage for the Stories from the UK. And they created this landing page, again, using a grid section. So now let's click, for instance, on the first name to open the first interview. And this is an interview of Francesca. And of course, there is the written interview, but we can also see the photos of Francesca. And then we can also hear her voice. So again, a multimedia story combining different media. Okay, so this was the last example, and I believe that it's really exciting to see how different these examples are from each other, and that's because Shorthand isn't prescriptive. It's a really flexible toolkit that can adapt to your brand, your content needs, and to your storytelling style. All right, now it's time to go to the editor and start creating our first story. So if you already have an account, you simply need to click sign in. If you don't have an account, then you can check out our pricing page where you can see the different subscription plans that we offer. And these subscription plans can really meet the needs of teams of every size, and there are a number of factors that you can choose. For instance, the number of stories that you would like to publish, the number of users, the features that you would like to have access to, the way that you would like to publish your stories according to your existing setup. Then you can decide the kind of support that you're going to receive from us in terms of technical support or editorial support. And all of these will be shaped by your needs and also the subscription plan that you will choose. All right, so now let's go to my dashboard. Okay, so this is my dashboard, and this is also where we're going to spend the majority of today. And just let me give you a very quick tour of my dashboard. So of course, these are the stories that I'm currently working on. And here on the left hand side, I have my sidebar where I can find my teams, or I have 3 teams for my workspace, and teams, of course, are a great way to organize your content according to your physical teams, or also according to the different content types. So for instance, you could create a team for your reports or another team for your marketing stories, and so on and so forth. Here I can see the different things that I can create in Shorthand. So of course, stories, and then I can create collections, projects, and then I can also access my deleted content. So no worries at all if you delete anything accidentally, because you will be able to restore it for 90 days. So you will have 90 days to restore anything deleted. Okay, down here, I have my settings, and I can check things like account details, billing details. I can manage members and assign different roles. I can check what publishing methods are available for my workspace, depending on the plan that I have. I can also generate API tokens. I can download analytics for the whole workspace. So this is great because it allows you to download the stats for all your stories, and you can share the report then with other departments as well. Down here, you can access our help center. So you can access our knowledge base, which is a collection of great articles where you can find, for instance, section guides, media guidelines, and all the information that you really need to work in Shorthand. And you can also submit your help request from here. Okay, so back to the dashboard. Let me close this. Okay, so if I hover over a story card, I can see this three dots menu. Just let me click that. You can see that I have a few options. So I would like to point out in particular that you can assign tags to your stories. And this is very handy because, of course, it allows you to organize your content by any classification scheme that you might need. But you can also use tags to filter down your dashboard. Then I would like to show you two tools that are really going to empower you in terms of speed. So first of all, you can create a copy of your story. And this is great if, for instance, you want to use the story as a template for other stories as well, or if you want to translate your story. And speaking of translation, we also have this feature here available on some subscription plans. And this is an integration with DeepL. So basically, you will be able to translate your story to over 30 languages with just a click. All right, so now it's time to click new story and start creating. So first of all, I need to choose my team. So I'm going to create my story, for instance, in my webinars team. And now I need to select a starting point. So I can either, I have three options here. I can start from scratch. I can import content either from a web page or from a PDF. So if I want to redesign a web page or a static PDF, this is a feature that is going to really speed up things for me and simplify my workflow. And there is also an integration with OpenAI that will provide suggestions for the layout. And then we have the third option. So as I mentioned earlier, we have templates, and templates are really great examples for different use cases for Shorthand, and really great guides for starting out. So that these are great if you are new to Shorthand, but even if you are an expert, they can be really great source for inspiration. You can take a look at the previews or like so. And if you want, you can also add a template to your dashboard to see how the template was built. So you can see the different section tags used to build a template. And then you can also check out the settings to see how the different effects were created. So something that you could do, for instance, let's say that you like this template, so you can simply replace the text with your own, and you can also replace the imagery. However, this is not what we're going to do today. Today, I would like to start from scratch because this is really going to give us more flexibility. Okay, so let me click blank story. Okay, and now I can see all the section types available in Shorthand. And these are the building blocks for my story, each one achieving a different design goal and each one with several customization options. And we can choose to start our story with any of these section types in order to craft captivating openings and really set the tone of our story right from the start. And so today we're going to take a look at each one of these section types. And I'm going to start with our classic title section, which is a commonly used section to start stories. Okay. And I'm also going to add a text section already. Okay, so let's start first of all with the title section. So this section includes a background media with 3 text blocks. We have a title, a subtitle, a byline. I can also add other text boxes. I can also move them across different positions. And then something that I wanted to mention is that it's super easy to edit the text. So today, for instance, I would like to create a story with some holidays ideas. So ideas for holidays. So let's call this holiday destination. Okay, and we can see that as we type our text, there are some options that appear on over. So it's really easy to style the text. Here we can find the different header tags that we can add. So for instance, we have the H1, H2, and the other header tags. And as I'm sure you know, it's good practice to always include a H1 in your story, because this is going to be really important to make sure that your story is optimized both for SEO and accessibility. And the H1 tag in particular is going to tell both Google and screen readers what the main content of your page is. So be sure to include one. And then I also have other style options as well. I can also change the font. I can change the size, and I can also change the alignment of my text. And if I highlight part of my text, I can see other formatting options as well. Okay, so when it comes to the background media, this is really easy to customize as well. So let's hit this button here, and I have 3 options. I can include an image, I can include a video, or I can generate a 3D image. And for my story today, I would like to start with a video. So just let me drag and drop it from my computer. But in the meantime, something that I wanted to mention is that if you're new to Shorthand, or maybe if you are not too sure what the best practices are with media, no worries. You will always find our recommendations in the media panel, both for videos and images, or here in the media guide. And this button will open the guide for this section type. And yeah, sorry, maybe my connection is a bit slow, but basically, okay, yes, this is the guide for the title section. And if we scroll down, we can also find the video guidelines. All right, so, okay, I have found my video, so let me drag and drop it. All right. Okay, so now we can see that the editor is capturing the video fallback image. So basically it's creating a fallback image for me, which is going to appear, for instance, when someone is viewing my story from a mobile on low battery mode, or maybe if they have a slow connection and they are unable to play the video, they will see this, the fallback image. So let's give it a second. I also wanted to mention that here you can also add a caption. And from this panel, you can also get an idea of how the video is going to look like, your media in general is going to look like, both on desktop and on mobile. And for mobile, you also have some other options. So something that I would like to mention, and that I already mentioned at the beginning of the session, is that Shorthand stories, what we are going to create now is going to be responsive, so it's going to work seamlessly across all devices. However, we have a few tools that will allow us to make sure that we are completely happy with our version, with our story across all devices. Okay, so for instance, again, we can see a preview here, and if we don't like this, we can change the focal point. And if we are not happy with this, then we can upload a mobile-specific video as well. Okay, now let's save changes. Okay, and we can see this message here. Let me know that the editor is still preparing the video for me. So in the meantime, let's take a look at the settings for this option. So as I mentioned before, each section type comes with several customization options. So let's click this little cog icon to open the settings. So we can see that we have different settings, including visibility. So I can set each section type to show only on specific devices. Right now, I'm keeping this video visible for all devices. Then I can change the layout. So now I have the full layout, but I can also split the layout in two. I can also go for the text-only version, but let's keep the full layout. And I can make this smaller, or I can also make this bigger and fill the viewport. Then I have the color. I can choose the color of the background. So I have this dark mode, this light mode, or these custom colors. And here I can see my palette. And this palette is the palette that I have included in my theme. And something that is available on some plans is a branded theme that our designers are going to create for you, including your brand colors and your brand fonts. So you will have a palette with all your colors here, and also a drop down here with all your brand fonts. Okay, let's go back to the settings. I would like to customize the colors for my section. So I want the text white and the background black. And then here I can see that I can increase or decrease the opacity of the background to make the text stand out a bit more. So right now, the opacity is applied to the whole image, video, sorry. But I would like to apply it only to the bottom. And now when I click this option, I can see that I have other options, and these are gradients that I can apply. So I'm going to select this gradient here. And I'm also bringing the opacity to the 200%. Okay, just to make this text, well, maybe a bit less, just to make this text stand out a bit more. So my idea is to create something similar to what we see here, where we see this title section in this template. We can see this title section that is blending in nicely with the next section type, thanks to this gradient. Okay. So before we finish this effect, I would like to show you that we can also apply some scroll effects to the text. So for instance, let's make this fade out, and we can also apply some effects to the background. And I'm also going to make the background fade out as well. Okay, and so my title section is ready to go, and so now it's time to take a look at the text section. All right, so the text section is a single column of text that I can move to the left or to the right. If I want, I can also add another column of text and have a 2-column layout on desktop. And just let me apply the same colors that I applied before, because as I mentioned, I would like to create a nice transition from the title to the text. All right. Okay, so now let's take a look at the different things that I can do in a text section, because it's a really flexible section. First of all, we can see that we can style each paragraph with different options. So I would like to make this my title, my heading. So let's apply H2, and also let me make this a bit smaller, something, okay, and I'm also going to align this to the center. Something that I wanted to mention is that I can also adjust the width of my column. Okay, and then as I mentioned, I can also apply other styles. For instance, I can leave it as a paragraph. I can apply drop cap, a bullet list, and so on and so forth. And then there are a number of things a number of items that I can insert in lines. So I would like to show you this in more detail. So let me make this section a bit longer. So I'm just copy and paste this text to make this longer. So the first item that I'm going to show you is the first option that we have, which is insert media. Okay, so we can insert images, videos, or third-party items. So let's start with the first option. So we'd like to insert an image. And instead of using one of my images from my computer, I'm going to go to the media library. And this is where I can find images that I already use in other stories, or I can access our Unsplash library, where I can find millions of royalty-free images that I can incorporate in my stories. So we're talking about holidays. So now let's look for a picture of Paris. Okay, I'm going to click that. All right. Okay, so when we use an image from a splash, we can see that these fields are populated automatically. So we already have the caption and we have the alt text populated as well. And as we can see here, the alt text is a recommended field. And that's because the alt text is going to give you the ability to describe the image for screen readers and make sure that your story is accessible. And while we are on the subject of accessibility, I wanted to mention that there are a lot of things that the editor does in the background to make sure that your stories can really meet the web accessibility guidelines. But there are also a few things that you can do to really optimize the accessibility of your stories. And one of these is adding alt tags or using the heading tags, so the H1, H2, etc. in a logical sequence. And then we also have a lot of tips included in our accessibility checklist that you can find in our knowledge base. All right, I can also add a link if I want to my image. And okay, so let's save this. Okay, so now I can change the size. So let me make this a bit smaller. I can change the alignment. And if I click this three dots menu here, I can see some very nice styling options that I have for all the foreground media. So all the media that we're going to include inline are going to be foreground media. And I'm going to tell you a bit more about that later when we discuss videos. So first of all, I can change the shape of the media, or I can change also the sharpness of the corners, and I can even create, sorry, let me go back to the sharp corners, and I can even create different shapes using these options. And then I have these animation effects that I can apply to my background media. So let's take a look. First of all, I have these free preset animation effects. So I have fade, zoom, and also slide. And if I click this menu here, I can also find other options. So I can make this fade off. I can change the slide direction. I can change the zoom level. I can make this rotate. I can control the speed as well. All right, so something that I wanted to mention about these animation effects is, first of all, that these are available again for all foreground media, but they are also available in the grid section and also in the media gallery. And then another important thing, as you can see, is that we won't be able to see, to view the effects here in the editor, but only in the preview or in the published version of your story. So I guess now it's a really great time to show you the preview of the story and how we can preview our work. And something great about working in Shorthand is that you can check anytime how your story is coming along, how it's going to look like once published, because all changes are saved immediately. So let's click preview, and here you can see this little arrow, and we can see that we have different preview options, again, because we want to make sure that our story renders perfectly across all devices, so we can actually see how it's going to look like on desktop, on tablet, and on phone using these preview modes here. So let's take it out to full preview to see how this is going to look like on desktop. Okay, so all right, so now I have my video. If I scroll down, I can see the gradient and how I can see that the section is blending in with my text section. And now I can see the animation effect. Okay, so this is the first preview, and something that I can already see is that my story definitely needs some blank space. There is too much, this is a wall of text and it's a bit overwhelming. So this is something super easy to create. So back to the editor. Again, if we hover over the paragraph breaks, we will see the different options, and one of these options is this spacer, and this you can use the spacer to create again white space, and this is something that you can, for instance, use after titles or around images. Okay, so speaking of foreground media, you can also add videos. So I'm going to use the video that we have here, and this is going to be a foreground video. And so let me do this. Okay, and there is a difference with the video that we use in the first section. So this is the background video, and this is first of all, you can see that this is playing in loop, and this is also muted again because this is a background video. But if in Shorthand, you can also include videos with audio, and the way to do so is using videos as inline media, like in this case. So we can see that this is a video with a player, so you have volume and play and pause controls as well. And there are also other options to include videos, and now this will lead us to the next option, which is the rich embed. So the rich embed is an option that allows you to embed any third-party tools, any third-party items without writing a single line of code, just like we saw in the Sky story before. So this is just a selection of all the different items that you can embed in your stories, and it's not a complete list. And today I would like to include a YouTube video. So just let me look for the link. Okay, so what I need to do is simply copy and paste the shareable link and save changes. Okay, so now I have my YouTube video embedded. So something to mention with embedded items is that I don't have the same customization options in terms of animation and in terms of size, but it's really a handy feature if you want to include third-party tool or interactive charts very quickly. All right, so other options that we can have and use, we can insert buttons. So if you want to create a CTA, we can use a divider. So for instance, if we are changing focus, or if you want to underline, for instance, our title, we can use the divider as well. And then we can also insert a table. And tables are like everything in Shorthand, you can really get creative even with something as simple as a table, because tables are fully customizable. So if we click here, we can see that we can change colors, the colors of the single cells, of the borders. So let me change this color so we can see this a bit better. And we can also insert media inside the single cells. And actually something that I would like to show you is an example. So if we go back to add section to open our library of section types, I wanted to show you that down here, we also have some templates for section types. So just like we have templates for stories, we also have templates for particular sections. And this, the template that I would like to show you is a template for a table. Okay, this one. So let me add it to my story. So this is going to be a separate section type, but just to show you what you can create with a table. So something really nice and on brand as well. Okay, let me delete this and let's go back to my text section. Now I would like to show you the last option, which is, okay, before we do that, let me add some text here. Actually, before I show you the last option, which is going to be the split section feature, I wanted to mention that earlier on, I embedded a video from YouTube without writing a single line of code. However, if you want, you can also use code. So again, you don't need any coding experience when you are working in Shorthand, but if you know how to code or if you have a tech team on hand, then you have other customization options available for you. So for instance, you can use our developer tools like HTML that can be used inline, as we can see here. We also have a specific HTML section, and then you can use HTML in conjunction with CSS and custom JavaScript. All right, so the last option that I wanted to show you again is this split section feature that is going to take out this word to a different section type. So this is really great when you are, for instance, importing content from another page or from a PDF, or when you are working on a story and maybe you realize that you are not, that you would like to split the section type into different section types. And something else that I'm going to show you is how I can easily change this text section into a different text section. Again, if I change my mind and I realize that I want this to be a different section type, I don't have to recreate it from scratch. I simply need to click this button here, and I can choose a different section type, and I'm going to choose the next one that we're going to discuss, which is our text over media section. Okay, now I have it. All right, so the text over media section is a section type that is quite similar to the title section in terms of customization options. So what I'm going to do today is actually use this section to show you the other options that we have for the background. But first of all, just let me change the title here. So now we're talking about holidays. So now let's talk about ski holidays. And also let me change the size maybe. Okay, not too big. All right, so let's go and click Edit Background Media. So now I would like to show you something about images. And let me drag and drop an image from my computer. All right, so when you are working with images, you also have other options. You can, for instance, use our AI image enhancement, which is going to improve the quality of low quality images. You can also apply filters. And something else that you can do is generating a 3D version of any static image. So let's do this. And this is something that you can also do from here. So you have image, videos, and 3D image. And when it comes to 3D images, of course, we have some recommendations regarding the types of photos that are going to work best with this feature. And this is something that you can find in our media guide. So let's save changes because this might take some time because as we can see, the editor is detecting all the elements of the image in order to prepare the 3D effect. But in the meantime, I would like to show you something else. So for this story, I would like to create a navigation menu to make sure that my readers can navigate the story easily, and they can jump to the section type that they are most interested in easily. And in the meantime, we can see that my section is right, but yeah, first of all, let's create our navigation menu. So what I do is simply add the name of my chapter. So we use the name of the section title. Then we have text, and then we have text over media. All right, great. Okay, so this is the text over media with a 3D image. And when we use the 3D image feature, we see this scroll bar here that allows us to hide the text behind elements of the image. And then we also have other effects available in the section options. 3D effects, some cinematic effects that we can apply. So for instance, zoom, pan, tilt, and I'm going to use this one to the left. Okay. All right. So basically now if I scroll down, I will be able to see my text. Let me change also the height and okay. So this is, I'm going, all right, I can see my text coming out from behind the mountains, which is, yeah, a nice way to surprise my readers. All right, now let's take a look at the next section type, which is going to be the reveal section. And when I was showing you the different examples from Sky News, from the BBC, we already took a look at some beautiful examples of the reveal section. So as a quick refresher, the reveal section is a section type where you have full screen images, one after the other, with a transition between them. And so you can create a beautiful transition, like in this example here. So we can see that we go from black and white, and as we scroll down, we can see that it goes from black and white to full colors. So let's see how we can create this effect. If we click the Edit Media panel, we can see that this effect was created using 3 images. So one for each stage of the transition. And yeah, just let me show you super quickly how you can create something similar using just what you have in the editor. So I'm going to delete all my images here. And then I'm going to open my media library and splash. Let me look for another image related to skin. Okay, this one has really nice, really bright colors. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click this duplication icon here, and I'm going to create a copy of the image. After that, I'm going to edit the first one, and I'm going to use the filters that I mentioned before and apply a black and white filter. Okay, this is done, save changes. And then I'm going to click this icon here to apply a transition effect. So as you can see, we have different transition effects, and I'm going to apply fade. Okay, right? So now let's scroll down. So this is super basic, but just to show you how easy it is to create something nice, something immersive, using just what you have in the editor. And for each image of the reveal section, you can also add some text with all the customization features that we already discussed when we took a look at the text section. So this is going to be my first reveal. Let me call this reveal 1, because I would like to show you something else. I'm going to add another reveal section because I would like to show you how you can use the grid site, the reveal section, for data visualization. So the data visualization is one of the many beautiful use cases for the reveal section, and quite a popular one. So let me just drag and drop some images from my computer. All right, so this is going to be a very basic interactive chart about snowfalls in ski resorts. And just let me click down and show you how this is working. Okay, this is still preparing. Okay, this is ready now. Let's scroll down. Okay, so I have my first image, then I have my second image with a dark overlay that I have applied using another tool, but I can also apply it using the filters. And after that, I have the first, I can see the first line of my line chart. And if I scroll down, I have the second line. So I can basically, as I scroll down, I can animate my charts. So instead of showing a simple chart, a simple infographic, you can animate it using the reveal section. And so basically what you need to do is upload an image for each phase of the transition, each step of your chart, of your interactive chart. Okay, so this was the reveal section. And I guess now it's time to take a look at the background formation. So the background formation is a section type featuring section and images that change in the background as we scroll down. The text section, the text column has the same customization options that we discussed earlier. We can also move this to the right if we'd like. And something else that we can do is also adjust the column. We can also add media inline. And this is a really nice section type for creating a sort of flipbook animation effect or an immersive photo gallery that you can show in the background. So let me show you an example of how you can create a flipbook animation effect. Again, let's open the media panel. Let's delete all the assets here, and I'm going to upload some assets from my computer, so bear with me. Okay, all right. Okay, so now we can see that, well, the editor is still uploading my media, but if I scroll down, I can sort of see, yeah, the animation effect, the flipbook effect. Well, this is not perfect because the way that I created this was by taking screenshots from a video, but just to show you how easy it is to create a fun experience for your readers. So you can really animate your images, uploading different assets for each step of the animation. Okay, let's click this and to save the changes. And then if we go to the section options, we can see the different customization options. So for instance, we have the opacity of the text column, and then we can also change the transition, the speed of the transition. But let's leave this as it is. Okay, so just let me add, sorry, my name. So this was the Riviera 2, and this is going to be the background formation, but let me use just the initials. Okay, so now something that I would like to show you is how this section type is going to look like on mobile. So on desktop, we can see that we have the column of text and then the images that change in the background. So let's click preview. And the default preview mode is going to be mobile. Okay, so now I have my video, but let me jump to the background formation. So as we can see, on mobile, we can see the full screen image, but then as we scroll down, we can see that the text comes over the top of the image. So my images will still change in the background, but I'm not going to see that because they are covered by the text. And of course, something that I can do, and now we see the last bit of the final part of the last image. Something that I could do to fix this is reduce the opacity, but this might not work very well in terms of readability. So especially if you have a lot of text. So I'm going to show you how we can find a solution for this to make sure that we maintain the same experience also for our mobile readers. But before we do that, I would like to show you the next section type, which is going to be the scrollmation section. The scrollmation section is similar because, again, we have a column of text and then images that change in sequence as we scroll down, but this time we have two separate columns. And this is great for data visualization or for flipbook effects again. And let me show you, okay, scrollmation, scrollmation. Let me show you how this is going to look like on mobile. Okay, let's wait for, okay. So let me click the menu, let me jump to my scrollmation section. Okay, so as we can see, so this is still loading, right? As we can see, we have one single column. So we have the images here at the top of the screen and then the column of text below. And if I scroll down, I can see that the images are changing in sequence. And so the reason why I wanted to show you this is, first of all, because it's important to be aware of the different modes of this section when it comes to desktop and mobile, but also because the mobile version of the scrollmation can be actually a very good solution to this problem that we had here in this case. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to recreate this background transformation as a scrollmation section only for my mobile users. So what I'm going to do is clicking this duplicate button here. So now I'm going to open my second background transformation and click the change section type and choose scrollmation section. Okay, so now this is scrollmation section. Now let's go back to the background scrollmation. Let's click section options and let's make sure that this the visibility is set for desktop only. And then I'm going to do the opposite for the scrollmation, and I'm going to show this only to my mobile users. Okay. Okay, back to the preview. So let's take a look at this. Okay, just a few seconds. Okay, right. So if I now click background transformation, we can see that we have the images at the top and the text below. And apologies again for my connection. And if we switch to desktop, again, let's wait. All right. We can see that we have the original background transformation. So this is a nice way to tailor your experience for mobile. And I'm not suggesting, of course, that this is something that you should do every time you have a background transformation, but I thought that this would be a good example to show you how you can really customize your experience and the experience and how flexible the editor is. Okay, so back to the editor, and let me close all these preview links. Okay, let's talk about the next section, which is the scroll point section. And the scroll point section is a very nice section type where you can have one image that is going to change in scale and position to bring a detail into frame as you scroll down. So okay, let's wait a few seconds. Yeah, apologies again. I believe that there are some connection problems. Okay, sorry, because there is a storm here. I don't know how the weather is where you are. Here we're having a storm at the moment, but now we have our scroll point section. So again, as I scroll down, I can see this image changing in shift, in scale and position. So I have the first detail, and then I pan across to the next one, and I can also see some text, some context for each detail. Okay, now I would like to show you how we can create a very fun experience for our readers. And the scroll point section is a very flexible section that you can use for a number of use cases. Some popular ones are horizontal scrolling, timelines, or interactive maps. I would like to use this for something a bit different. So let me upload an image from my computer. Okay, yeah, we are still skiing. All right. Okay, so I see that the editor has already created the scroll points experience for me, but this is not what I had in mind. So let me get rid of the text first of all, and let me click these two arrows here. And here I can see the different points of interest that the editor already selected for me, again, to create this movement. But I don't want these slides, these outlines. I want to create my own single scroll points. So let's delete this and let's keep just the first one. So I would like to start with an image fully in view. So I'm going to move this to the right. So now I have it to the center. And here I'm going to click this plus icon and click add scroll point. Then I'm going to click this edit highlight button, and this will allow me to outline my point of interest. So the first part of my scroll points experience. So I'm simply going to draw my outline, and as I do so, I can see that first of all, it's green, so there is a color that I can change, and it's a solid outline. I can also change the style of the of the outline, but I would like to have no outline. Okay, so I'm going to leave this to none. Okay, let's click done. All right. So now instead of, I would like to add another scroll point. So my idea is to make sure that my readers can jump together with this guy. So yeah, I wanted to show you what my idea was, so you can follow better what I'm doing now. So okay, so we are starting our jump here. So now I would like to continue with the jump, but instead of adding another scroll point, I'm going to actually duplicate this scroll point because I would like to take it from here. So I'm going to click this edit highlight button, and then I will simply need to drag this outline here. And as I do so, we can see that there are these red guidelines, which are going to be super helpful. For instance, when we are creating some horizontal scrolling to make sure that the movement is precise. Okay, click done. I'm going to duplicate this again. Click edit, and then I'm going to jump down and click done. Duplicate this again. And now let's land. All right, done. And now I would like to go back to the full image. So instead of duplicating my scroll point, I'm going to simply add a new scroll point without any outline box. Okay. All right, so let me close this and let me go back to the previous section. Okay, now let's take a look at what's happening here. Okay, so I have my image, my started image, and as I scroll down, I can see that I'm sort of jumping together with this guy. And if I want, I can also add some text, and I have, again, all the styling options and also all the inline media that we have seen for the other text section as well. Okay, so this was the scroll point section. Scroll point, let me add this to the menu. And scroll points is perfect so for so many use cases, and the great thing is that you don't need to create different assets to create an animation effect like we saw for the background scrollmation or for the reveal section. You just need one image, and then you can create all the effects using the editor. In terms of use cases, you can check some of the use cases here in the section templates. So for instance, you can see how to create a scroll point horizontal timeline or even a vertical timeline. And a really great example is also using scroll points for maps. And here you find some templates for maps that you can use and add to your story. So let's add this, for instance. And this template is really good because it also comes with some instructions that will explain you how you can customize this map with your own colors and create the experience for your readers. Okay, so this was the scroll point section. So now let's take a look at the next section. This is a great section. So this is a very flexible section type that you can use for many use cases. So for instance, we already saw in the BBC story that you can use this to create a sort of onward journey for your readers, like so. Or you can also use this to create a landing page, like we have seen in the story from the British Council. So with a grid section, you have a title, then you have 3 cells. You can also add another cell, or you can delete the cells. You can also add other rows. You can choose to have a combination of images and text, or you can only have images or only text. And just let me use an example here to show you some of some other use cases. So for instance, if we go to tables and grids, we can see that, for instance, a popular use case for the grid section is to use it for profiles. Okay, and this was the grid section. Okay, let me add it to the menu. Next up, we have the media gallery. Okay, so with the media gallery, you can have a combination of images, of photos and videos. Videos are going to be videos with sound, so foreground videos. And you have two different layouts. So you have this flexible grid that you can change and customize very easily from here or from the section options. So we have different size options here. And you can also have another option, which is the carousel, and which is available on some plans. And this is really going to help you capture focus one picture, one asset at a time, and make your content more interactive, because this is going to be triggered on click. And again, we have different options in terms of size or in terms of alignment. We can start from the left or from the center. We can also decide whether or not to allow the expansion of the images on click. Then we have the animation effects that we saw before. We can also change the corners. So we have many different options to customize this section type as well. Okay, so this was the gallery. Okay, and then we have the media section. The media section is going to be one single piece of media, and this here you can add either an image or a video, or you can also use this with a rich embed feature, so you can use it to embed an infographic or a third-party tool, a social media post. And something important to mention about the media section is that the assets that you're going to use in this section are going to maintain their aspect ratio. So they're not going to be cropped out by the editor. And this is something important to mention, because as I already mentioned a couple of times, shorthand stories are responsive. And to make sure that your stories are responsive, the editor is going to slightly adjust some of the images, some of the assets that you are going to upload in other section types. But this is not going to happen in the media section. So if you want to make sure that your image remains as it is, then the media section is the section type for you. When it comes to the responsiveness of images, so as I was saying, the editor may slightly adjust some images. So this means that some details at the edge might be cropped out of view. So for instance, let's go back to the reveal section, to my data visualization for a moment. Let me click Edit Panel. So here, let me open the Edit panel for the first image. So here we can, sorry. Okay. Okay, apologies. Let's wait for this. Okay. Okay, so sorry about that. Again, the storm is not helping me today, but no worries. We are going to make it. So let me add actually the third one. Okay, now here I have my line chart, and I can see that there is this little box here, this approximate safe area. And basically everything that is going to be contained in this box is going to show on all devices. So if you want to make sure that that the important details of your images, of your media, show on all devices, please check out this safe area, and our also find some templates. For instance, see that my line is not going to work on mobile because the line is not contained in within the safe area. So this means that I will need to adjust the image and I will need to upload a different image for mobile. Okay, so this was a very quick introduction to the safe area. Again, another way to make sure that your story is perfectly responsive. All right, so finally, we have two sections. So we have collections and we have the custom HTML. So as I mentioned before, if you have a tech team on hand, they can use the developer tools available in the platform, including the custom HTML section, and in conjunction with custom JavaScript and custom CSS. Otherwise, you can use all the features available in the editor to create beautiful stories. And before we take a look at the collection section, I would like to mention something about collaboration, because Shorthand is a collaborative platform. So you can collaborate with your colleagues on a story. So for instance, I can add other colleagues from here. And for instance, I'm going to add my colleague Morgan. And now that I've added Morgan, I can see that she has editing permissions. So she can edit the story with me, but I can also change the editing permissions if I want to. I can also invite someone new. And another option that I wanted to mention is that you can also leave comments for your colleagues here. And you can also tag your collaborators. Like so. Is this okay? And so in this case, Morgan is going to receive an email in her inbox, letting her know that a comment is waiting for her in the dashboard, and she can reply, of course, and she can also resolve or, and if I want, I can also copy the link and share this link with Morgan using Slack or another chat. And if I want, I can also leave comments for single bits of text. So for instance, I want to get an opinion on this title. And so what I need to do is simply highlight the title and click this button here. Okay, and this is going to let me add a comment just for this title. Right, now let's go back to the dashboard because I would like to show you something about collections and projects. So collections is a feature that allows you to create a list of links. And so this is a great way to bring your stories together. And so let's take a look at this collection in particular. So for each link, you can include an image, you can include a title, a description, and also the URL. And this can be a shortened story, but you can also include the link of another page of your website. Okay, and collections, as you can see, are published. So when you create a collection, you will need to publish your collection, and this is not going to be published anywhere, actually. But when you see that this is published, it means that this is available to be used in your stories and included in all your stories. And the great thing about collections is that you can include collections in, you can include a collection in different stories, and all the changes that you do here, that you apply here, will be reflected on in the stories as well, automatically. So this is really great. So back to the story. Let's add my collection at the end. So I would like to create an onboard journey. So one option was using the grid section, but now I'm going to use my collection section. So I'm going to see. Okay. And then here, if I click section options, I can also see the different layout options that I have. So now I have the default option, which is like Polaroid style, but I can also have the list or the grid. Okay, let's leave the first one. All right, so this was my story. And something else that I wanted to mention before we take a look at another option that we have to bring stories together is that something that I can do with my stories and something that is going to really empower me and speed up things for me and my team is to save section types as templates. So for instance, let's say that I would like to use these text over media in other stories as well. So I simply need to click this icon here, this little star, and I can save this as a template. So I click the name, description, and also assign a category. Okay. Back to the dashboard, let's take a look at projects. Project is a feature that allows you to bring multiple stories together through a navigation structure. So we took a look at an example of a project. So this is a project. So this is a multi-story site that again brings together multiple shorthand stories. And I'm also going to show you how to create a project very quickly. So you need to click new project, then you have to select the team and you have two options. You can start a project from scratch, or you can use one of our templates. And here we can also see some of the wonderful use cases that we can use projects for, like annual reports, event guides, magazines, art catalogs, internal communications, but I would like to show you this instructional guide because this is a really great example because first of all, we can see how a project is structured. So actually, let me take this to preview. Let's take a look at the preview first. So we have our project here, then we have the different, this drop-down menu linking out to other stories. And this is a very nice example because, again, this is a template that you can use, but this is also going to show you how you can actually put a project together. So yeah, I recommend checking out this template. So back to the editor here, I can see this first level with 5 stories, and this is going to be my primary level menu. And then I have this drop down. So I have these 3 stories under create a new project. And these 3 stories are here. And something else that I can do, I can add another story if I like. I can use a blank story, a story that I already created, or a navigation group. I can customize the navigation. So for instance, I can choose to have a burger menu. I can also edit the navigation. So I can create this manually. And if I want, I can also include links to non-shorthand articles. All right, so this was a very quick introduction to projects. Again, I believe that the best way to understand what project is and how it can help with your content goals is to check out these templates. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or to our success team. And I'm going to give you our contact details later on. But now I guess it's time to publish our story. So back to our story here. Okay, so we have built our story and it's time to get it live and in front of our audience. But before I do this, I want to take a final look. So something that I want to check is for instance, if the flow of my narrative is logical. So if the sequence of section types is really encouraging my readers to keep scrolling down. And something that can really help with this, of course, is using this navigation, is building a navigation. And something else that I can do, especially if I create a long story, is adding a reading progress bar. And this is something that I can do here from the story header option. So let me click this top icon. And here I can toggle on the reading progress bar, and then I can customize the colors. So I'm going to go for, I don't know, let's say black background color and a blue foreground color. I'm not sure if this is going to be a good combination, maybe, but you can see now the reading progress bar, which is going to help a lot with engagement. Other things that I can check are the settings. This is where you can add metadata to make sure that your story can be crawled and indexed. So you can add title, description, and we have some recommendations in our knowledge base. So I recommend that you check them out, and I'm also going to share the links with you after this session. Something else that you can check are the social settings. So we want to make sure that our story can reach as many people as possible. So if you want to share this on socials, we can create the social cards here. And we can even do more, because with the editor, we can also generate social media ready assets. And the way to do it is by clicking this little arrow that I see next to publish. And then here I can create shareable, I can click create shareable content, and this will open different options. So we can find here a drop down with the different social media, and then the different formats that I can create, both videos, which is a brand new feature available on some plans, and also social media images. And I can download these assets, and then I can share them. I can use them to promote my story on social media. All right, so now I guess it's time to publish, but if you would like to know more about all the other things that you can check before publishing a story, we have an excellent pre-publishing checklist with a lot of tips. So for instance, another quite obvious tip is to make sure that your story performs well across different devices and that your media are optimized. Okay, so now it's time to publish your story, and we have different publishing options available for your team and to fit your existing setup. So let me actually show you this article from our knowledge base to go over the different publishing options. So the first one, the easiest way to publish your stories is using Shorthand hosting. And this is available on all plans, and you can publish your stories on using subdomain of shorthandstories.com, or for a more branded experience, you can set up a custom subdomain or even a custom domain hosting, which would require a quick DNS update from your web team. And you can use Shorthand hosting in combination with the Shorthand embed. So we have two options. We have the story launcher. So basically you can generate, okay, let's wait for this. Oh, all right, you can generate this banner that has this button here, enter. And if you click that, this is going to fill the page with your story. Then let's close this. Okay, and now we are back to our page. And this is useful if you don't want your readers to leave your page. Otherwise, for a more seamless navigation experience, we recommend using the embed code. So let's take a look at this example from today. And this is going to, okay, so apologies again, my connection is not helping, but basically with the embed code, you can embed your story into your own CMS. So as we can see here, we have our original, well, today has the original header, then there is the Shorthand story. I'm going to scroll through very quickly. And finally, we have the footer. So if you want to really optimize the navigation and the user experience for your readers, this is an excellent option for you. So now back to the dashboard. Let me show you how this works. So to publish a story, you will need to click publish. Okay. And now you can, here I can already see my custom subdomain, and I can also customize this, changing the name of the slug, but I'm going to leave holiday destinations. And I can also select the visibility, because I have different visibility options. So I would like to publish this story publicly. So I'm going to leave this as it is, but if I wanted, I could also publish this as anyone with a link, meaning that only people with a link would be able to access my story. And on some plans, we also have some password protected publishing options for you to make sure that only people with a password, with an OTP can access your stories. Okay, so let me click publish. So now I'm publishing my story to Sharpen hosting. And as I can see here, I also have other options as well. And these other options are available on some plans. So I can download my stories as zip files, and then we have self-hosted publishing options such as plugins for WordPress and Drupal, but we also have other options including SFTP or Amazon S3. But back to my story. So now this is published to this URL. And here I can see this copy story embed code that will allow me to copy the embed code and paste it to my CMS. All right. So this is the end of the session. And I believe that we are perfect on time. Great. But thank you so much for staying with me. I really hope that you found this session helpful. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box or the Q&A function. And I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes to answer your questions. But if you need to head to your next meeting, no problem at all. Thanks again. And if you can think of any other questions, just please feel free to reach out to me or the success team. Or if you want, you can also join our community of storytellers and post your questions there.